Psalm 96 with me?
Psalm 90. Oh, sure. I'll do anything.
Yeah, you do that.
I'll do
Give me 4 bars.
anything. Okay. That sounds great. That sounds great. 1 2 1 2. This is Shabbat morning. Let me hide all of this. What's that? Yeah, sure. Can we put this here? Hi, Jamie. Well, this screen is. You mean a window? I haven't. Let me hand Amanda one. little Psalm 96? Yeah. Let's do a little Psalm 96. Okay, we're gonna do a little Shiru Adonai. Oh, we're doing a little sound check here with Psalm 96. Okay, Len, I'm ready. 3, 4. Shiru Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Adonai, Kol Haaretz. Nice, nice. No, I wasn't in the mic. Yeah. Now, is your amp too loud? Right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hi, Karen, Ellen, Michael, Merrill, Matthew. I see Lil there. Hi, everybody. What's that? Hard to know. But it's a beautiful evening. No, that's right. I left a cocktail on my patio for this. More like bath time. Who are we kidding? I left bath time. But Mika might make an appearance. We'll see. Hi, Helene and Gary. Shabbat Shalom. How's is this looking? Do we have any? What I want? What? Yeah, no, looks good. What's this? Is it in? Yeah. Oh, 452. I'll have a look. Yeah, but I feel, if we do this, then maybe I wouldn't even do the other. Well, let's see what happens. It is, yeah. Let's see what the timing's like. How's Len's guitar? Is that coming through? Yeah. Okay, 2 minutes. Hi, Bob. Shabbat Shalom. Hi, Terry. Dai da ya da 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 ya da ya da da. Yai dai dai da da da. Yai dai 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 dai. Dai da da ya da da da. Yai da ba ba. Hi dai 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 da da. Hi Wendy. Hi Hank. Hi dai dai. Hi dai dai da da dai 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 dai. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Good evening. It's a beautiful evening out there. Thanks for being with us for Kabbalat Shabbat. And it's a real treat to have Len Hausman with us, accompanying us this evening. We're going to turn to Shalom Aleichem in the Lev Shalem. We're at the bottom of page 5. Here's Cantor Wallach.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Once again, welcome everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Let's turn in the Lev Shalem Sidur to page 11 for the Chune Ranina. If you're in the Sim Shalom, page 15.
Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai. Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, letzuri sheinu, nekadma fana v'toda. Naria, naria, letzuri sheinu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai. Lechune ranina, lechune ranina, lechune ranina, l'Adonai. Arba'im shana kut bedor, va'omaram to'ei levavim, ve'im lo yadu drachai. Asher nishbati ve'api, im yevohun el menuchati.
Let's turn the page. Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, bachu shemo, basru miyom leyom yeshuato, sapru vagoyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim nifleotav, ki gadol Adonai. Hulal meod norahu על כל אלוהים, איי איי איי, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה. עוד והדה לפניו עוז ותפארת, במקדשו הבו לאדוני משפחות העמים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, שאו מנחה בואו לחצרותיו, איי השתחוו לאדוני, בהדרת קודש חילו מפניו, כל הארץ אמרו בגויים, אדוני מלך, אף תיכון תבל בעל תימון, ידינמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם היום ומלואו, יעלו שדאי וכל אשר בו היה, אז ירננו כל הצייה לפני אדוני, כי בא לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק וימים באר. Mimi, we see you. Let's clap. Everybody, here we go. Dai 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 dai, yam dai 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 dai, oi da da dai 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 dai, yam dai 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 dai, ai da dai dai, yam ba dai dai, ai da dai dai, yam ba dai dai dai, dai da dai 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 da dai dai, yam ba da dai dai, dai da dai dai. Ai da dai dai, yam ba da dai dai dai, and dai da dai dai, dai da 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 dai 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 dai, yam ba da dai dai, oh ai dai dai, yan da da dai 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 dai. Miriam, well done. And we're glad to have you with us at Kabbalat Shabbat. Cantor's going to lead us in the next two psalms. Turn the page.
Adonai malach yitagel haaretz, yismechu im rabim, ענן ורפל סביביו, צדק ומשפט מכון כיסו. On page 16, 4 lines from the end of this psalm. Or Zaruah. Or Zaruah לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה. Or Zaruah לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה. Or Zaruah לצדיק ולישרי לב שמחה. ולישרי לב שמחה. יאללה לי לי יאי לי 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 לי. שמחו צדיקים באדוני והודו לזכר קודשו. שמחו צדיקים באדוני והודו לזכר קודשו. יאללה לי לי יאי לי 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 יאללה לי לי יאי לי 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 לי.
In each successive generation, and maybe even each week, and perhaps even each day, our challenge is to find new ways to offer and to sing to God. the next psalm, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash.
מזמור שיר אדוני שיר חדש כי נפלאות עשה הושיע לו ימינו וזרוע קודשו עוד ינאי שוטו ירם הים ומלואו, תבל ויושבי בה, נהרות ימחאו כף, יחד הרים ירננו, לפני אדוני כי בא, לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים במישרים, Yalla la 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 la, ya la la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, ya la la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla
We're going to turn the page and we'll welcome Amy Kamen. Amy is observing the Yortzeit for her late mother and will lead us in this next psalm and also offer a memory, a word of tribute about her mom. Here and then the next page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. Adonai is great in Zion, above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, awe-inspiring Holy One. A sovereign strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Exalt Adonai our God. Bow down before God, the Holy One. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who call upon thy divine name, called you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You are forgiving God to them, even as you punish them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai our God, and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy.
Thanks for leading the psalm, Amy. Yasher koach. You want to share something about your mother?
Sure. She passed away 11 years ago when she was 61, so to me an untimely death. And she was my best female friend, and I hope I can pass on part of her legacy. She was very inspired by mathematics, but she was an interesting combination in who she was, because she wasn't just a STEM person, she was very creative too. She was an artist as well. Her paintings showed her creativity. There's creativity to mathematics as well. So she shared that in two different avenues. And, she was one of the most empathetic people I knew. When I would be sick as a young child, she'd be right at my bedside bringing me a tray table, and I hope I can carry it forward with my own children and my own family the way she was. I love math too. I'm nowhere near as good as she is, but my kids carry that forward. So thank you for letting me speak.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Beautiful tribute. Thank you for sharing that, Amy. We're going to turn the page, page 21. And if you're in the Sim Shalom, we're on page 20. And please rise if you can for this psalm. Oh, that melody, great. Mizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod, va'oz havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod yirim, Adonai al almayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai behada, kol Adonai shover arazim, vaishaber Adonai et arze halvanon, vayakidem kemo egel Levanon v'Sirion, kemo v'nreimim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh. Kol Adonai yecholel hayalot, vayechesof ye'arot, uveichalo kulo merkavod, kulo merkavod. Adonai lamabul yashav yeshev, Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. You may be seated. Let's read responsively just before Lechadodi tonight on page 22, the Ana Bekoach meditation. Let's read responsively in English. If you would, may your mighty right hand undo the knot that ties us up. Almighty, if you would, guard as the apple of your eye those who seek your unity. Mighty Holy One, in your abundant goodness, guide your people. Listen to our pleas, hear our cries, knowing the hidden depths within us. Let's turn to Lechadodi on the next page.
Lechadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, shamar v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmi'anu, el hameyuchad Adonai echad, u'shemo echad l'shem u'letiferet ve'litila. Lechadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki meko haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh במחשבה תחילה. לחדודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומיצי מתוך ההפכה רב לך שבט, ויהי מקבחה והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
התנערי מיפה קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי, על יד בן ישי בית הלוח מקרוב על נפשי, נפשי גאלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. איללי לך דודי, איללי לקראת כלה, איללי פני שבת, איללי נקבלה.
לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עיר אל תילה. איי 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 לך דודי, איי 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 לקראת כלה, איי 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 פני שבת, איי 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 נקבלה.
והיו למשיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסוס חתן הכלה. איללי לך דודי, איללי לקראת כלה, איללי פני שבת, איללי נקבלה.
ימינו שמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תריצי, על ידי ישבן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. איי 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 לך דודי, איי 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 לקראת כלה, איי 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 פני שבת, איי 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 נקבלה.
בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, איללי לך דודי, איללי לקראת כלה, איללי פני שבת, איללי נקבלה.
You may be seated. In Sim Shalom, we're on page 23, and in Lev Shalem, we're on page 27 for the Psalm for Shabbat.
And just before we begin it, if Samantha Lakin is
Yeah.
listening online, if you could just look at your chat, that would be awesome, and then you'll let us know. Thank you.
That's great.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Let's try that again. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך,
חסדך,
ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We're going to conclude this psalm. Samantha, you're up for the next psalm, okay? On the next page.
That's not the right key, Len. Tzadikata amar yifrach ke'erez balvanon yizgeh shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim iu lehagid ki asher Adonai Suri velo avlata bo.
So this week, the Lakins are commemorating the yortzeit of Linda's late father. So in honor of her grandfather's yortzeit, Samantha's going to lead us on page 29 in the Lev Shalem.
And it sounds like Miriam's going to help.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Adonai malach geud lavesh Adonai osti tazar avtikon telam ba'al timot nachon kisach me'az me'olam atah nasun erot Adonai nasun erot kulam isun erot achyam mir kolod mahim rabi madirim mishperet heyam adir b'marom Adonai elotecha nemnu me'od l'reitcha navakodesh Adonai leorech yamimai nai 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 nai
The great ending there from Miriam. So, given that Samantha, you chanted that in honor of your grandfather, this is the perfect segue to move into remembering all those whose memories we're recalling this week. We remember Ethel Aaron, Edward Baumgarten, Anna Block, Joseph Brower, Francis Brisman, Herbert Kogan, Arthur Cohen, Michael Demby, Bernard Diamond, Lee Diamond, Murray Feldman, Harmon Finston, Harry Foreman, Frida Goldsman, Lena Greenstein, Barbara Halper, Bert Harrison, Emmanuel Hirschman, Ben Ingber, Helen Josephs, Renee Kesselman, Abraham Kirsch, Howard Klausner, Herman Klein, Theodore Cooker, Sarah Kushner, Stanley Lastday, Lillian Liesenbaum, Abraham Levinson, Lillian Levy, Pearl Malmud, Mary Marmon, Elise Morris, Pauline Mulhauser, Mildred Pusin, David Resnick, Betty Rosenhaus, Martin Rubin, Harry M. Saponsnik, Ann Shapsis, Rebecca Schachter, George Schreiber, Annette Silberman, Bernard Silverstein, Leon Unger, Roberta Wenenker, Leon Wilk, Alexander Wolf, Bertha Slatkin. What I'm going to ask Amanda to do now is to sort of release the mute button to allow everybody to unmute voluntarily. Amanda, if you can do that. And then I'll invite those of you on Zoom and those of you in person, if you do want to share a word of tribute about your loved one, just unmute yourselves. I will see that you're unmuted, and I'll be able to call on you. So let me turn it over to let's start with I see Linda's iPhone. Why don't we start with the Lakins to offer a memory.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. This is Donald. Shabbat Shalom, and Yasher Koach, Samantha, and the others. So I guess it's I have the same thing to say every year. We miss Bernie, and he was definitely the patriarch of this family. I say this every year, but when my father passed away, Bernie stepped up without hesitation and took over as being my father, as well as loving father for his daughters and son-in-laws, and of course the children, Zach and Samantha, and now Susie and Ben. So we miss him, and we'll remember him. He'd be so proud of the children and grandchildren, and of course his wife's main namesake, Miriam, Mimi.
Yeah.
And thank you for letting us share.
Thanks, Donald. Zach, did you wanted to add something?
Yeah, real quick, since who my dad said was really nice. But yeah, so my grandfather, like my dad said, he really did act as, the patriarch for the family, set an example that I like to emulate in terms of, how I like to treat people, and especially the type of partner and husband I like to be. It's something that I always admired, how he treated everybody, including my grandmother especially, always putting her first. We shared a lot of interests. I've been told that I have a lot of similarities to him. I like to focus on the positives I just mentioned in terms of his care. We both really love baseball, and I think he did give me a pass for becoming a Met fan. Not like him. He was a big Yankee fan, big Giant fan, and we could still bond over it, even though I did not like the same teams. And and I think just, like my dad mentioned, when his father had passed away, the way he stepped up, that's something that I see with Susie and my dad, but also with my father-in-law, Paul, who I'm close with, and is really kind of taking me under his wing in that sense as well. And I recognize that it's something that Grandpa Bernie did, and it's a characteristic that I'm very lucky to be around, not just by our family, but, our friends and in-laws too, so.
Thank you for that, Zach. Thank you for that tribute. Amanda, I should have asked you to do this earlier. If you don't mind making me co-host. Thank you very much, Amanda. Anybody else with a memory or a word of tribute? So then let me invite all those in mourning and those of you observing a Yortzeit this week to please rise if you can. Sharon, were you trying to unmute yourself? I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to do it.
Got it.
happen to be in Miami now, babysitting our
We
grandson Brody,
we hear with tremendous
Yes.
delight. Yeah.
whose namesake is after my sister. We have the earth side of my sister, Barbara, and my daughter Barry's named after her. My niece Blake was named after her. Her daughter Brett is named after her, and now my grandson Brody. And unfortunately, she passed away at the age of 29,
Yeah.
which is about 44 years ago. But we think of her every day. She's in our hearts, and she's part of our life forever.
Thank you for sharing that, Sharon. So let's turn to the mourner's Kaddish, which we'll all recite together. Those of us in mourning and observing a yortzeit. Again, if you're in the Sim Shalom, we're at the bottom of 24. If you're in our new Lev Shalem, we're on page 30. The mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemhei Rabba, Be'olma Divra Chirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, Bechayechon Uvyamechon, Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala Uvizman Kari, Vimeru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach, Leolam Mulolmei Olmaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitale, V'yitalal, Shmei Dekudesha B'richu, Le'ela min kol bichata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'olma v'meru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru amen. And we pray that the memory of those you recall this evening remain as a blessing for you in life. And speaking of blessing, of bracha, it is Friday evening, it's Erev Shabbat. It's an opportunity to bless our children and certainly all the children of our beloved CBI community. So here in person, on Zoom, if you've got a kid with you, it's a good time to put your hands on their shoulders or their heads. And we know that bracha travels. It doesn't know any geographic boundaries, a bracha. So you can pray for your kids wherever they are around the world, all of our CBI children tonight. Yisimchem Elohim ke'Ephraim Menashe Sarah Rivka Rachel Veleah Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha, Yaher Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yihisa Adonai panav elecha ve'yasem elecha shalom. I couldn't do it. Shalom, shalom, ve'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, ve'yasem lecha shalom, 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 ve'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, ve'yasem lecha shalom. Sorry, tonight I couldn't get you all, but you were certainly spotlighted in our hearts. Let me get back to gallery here. So tonight is Volunteer Shabbat, Volunteer Kabbalat Shabbat. An opportunity, an annual opportunity for us to give thanks, to say Toda Rabbah to all of the volunteers who work on behalf of and contribute time and energy on behalf of our community. I often, I'm actually thinking a little bit about the timing of Ali Greenstein's retirement of sorts last night after 14 years as USY advisor. And I sort of noted it last night, but clergy, professional staff, we certainly are the heads of the congregation, but it is the volunteers who are the heart, the lev, the soul of the congregation. And it is the volunteers, the lev, that pumps blood to all the various parts of the body. And it really requires volunteers. It requires the heart, the lev, in order for the institution to not only function and flourish, but to ensure sustainability, and to be able to offer you all gratitude and thanks all the time, but especially to dedicate and devote one Shabbat to all the volunteers of the year is certainly the least that we can all do. So in a moment, Cantor Wallach and I are going to offer the prayer for volunteers, the prayer for all those who contribute to the needs of the community. But before we do that, we actually have an initial mishaberach that we are going to offer all of our volunteers, and I'm going to call upon Rabbi Julie and our Executive Director Paul to join Cantor Wallach and me up here for a special mishaberach. Where is my script? I have no idea what the script is.
When we're busy with programs and we need some helping hands and nothing is getting done.
The call goes out on Facebook or email or robocall, and there you are already having begun. We just call out your names, and we know wherever you are, you'll come running to help us again. Flooding, Gala, Davening, or Tech, all we have to do is beckon and you'll be there. Yes, you will. CBI volunteers.
Sisterhood and Men's Club, Preschool BBRS aboard. There's nothing you cannot do. Sustainability, finances, security. CBIers always know what to do. We just call out your name, and we know wherever you are, you'll come running to help us again. Whenever we need a check, all we have to do is beckon and you'll be there. Yes, you will. CBI volunteers. Ooh, CBI volunteers. Thank you to that.
The lyrics by Rabbi Julie, of course, the melody by someone else. Let me call upon one of our volunteers, but also perhaps our head volunteer, the president of the congregation, Jamie Peteshin.
Thank you very much for that act to follow. Perhaps I should sing what I was going to say, but that's okay. Actually, let me do something first. So imagine that you're planning a large gathering in your home. You have invitations to send out, food to prepare, decorations to set up, someone to greet your guests at the door, and post-gathering cleanup. You also want to entertain your guests with music, and perhaps even stage a poetry recital where you organize guests to memorize poems and recite them for everyone's enjoyment. Now imagine doing this every week for a year, and you get a sense for life in a synagogue. We need help with planning and publicity, shopping and food preparation, post-meal cleanup, ushers, Torah readers, people to help lead services, and so much more. While we have dedicated and hardworking staff, we rely on an army of volunteers to allow us to maintain daily life in the synagogue, not even counting the extraordinary activities and events that happen throughout the year. So tonight we're celebrating our volunteers and thanking them, all of you, for your dedication and service to our community. So in thanking our volunteers, one of my biggest worries is leaving someone out. The list of volunteers and activities is just so large, it's inevitable that we won't capture everything that and that's why we're looking for even more help. I should have asked for a volunteer to compile the volunteers. So if you go to the volunteer page on our website, you'll see this scrolling list of volunteer names and activities and a link to allow you to propose changes and additions to the list. We're going to leave it up for a while just so that everyone can appreciate all our volunteers. These activities help bind our community together, and I encourage everyone to look at the list, think about activities you can get involved with in the coming year, or new ways that we can all come together. So with that, I'd like to share some highlights of our year in volunteering. The flooding we experienced last fall was highly disruptive, but we were able to weather the storm because of our volunteers. Special thanks to David Tauger for stepping in at a moment of crisis and organizing our cleanup. And that's when I was stuck at home on crutches. So he really was the man of the hour. Thanks to Adam and Mary Forster for their quick response in the flood mitigation, bringing in equipment on short notice to help dry out the building and prevent even more damage from mold. I understand that Mary, though she's not a truck driver, traveled some distance to truck in some equipment so that we could start the drying process. Thanks to the scores of volunteers who answered the call to help us move items out of the flooded areas and minimize our long-term damage and allow our preschool to function by moving upstairs. That was a huge job, and it took a lot of people, and people just came. They flocked to help us, so much so that when I called for volunteers, pretty soon had to say, nope, we don't need any more volunteers, we have enough. So many people came to help out. Thank you to our flood czar, Jamie Beneroff, who was our go-to person to organize the post-flood repairs and get us back in shape. This was really an enormous effort and is a fraction of what Jamie has done for us and continues to do in managing our building infrastructure and technology. This is everything from the plantings outside to our Wi-Fi, our phone systems, building repairs, and the Zoom and streaming equipment that we use now. We really relied on his skill and talent and energy and effort to make this happen. He's been a constant presence in our building, making sure we are in great shape. We also rely on many congregants throughout the year to help us manage our services and events. Thanks to David Good for overseeing our communications, advising the office on how to communicate professionally and putting together pleasing flyers to advertise our events. And if you've been coming to Shabbat services, you've probably run into Steve Brown ushering at the door. He's made sure throughout the year that we've had ushers, both to enforce COVID policies and maintain security, often taking on ushering duty himself and filling in. We list a lot of Torah readers, you'll see, as volunteers, and you have to appreciate that learning Torah, even a small portion, can be very time-consuming. And we do a full reading every Shabbat. When I talk about having your guests recite poems and memorize them, well, imagine memorizing 4 columns, 5 columns of Torah, and having to do that every week, so we rely on our volunteers to do that. So thanks to all those readers, and our most prolific reader, Len Hausman, who I understand has read the entire Torah over the course of all of his readings, and we rely on him heavily. We also have we've had a weekly Shabbat Kiddush all year long, and special thanks to Karen Tucker for making sure that we have food around which to gather and schmooze after services. You'll also see Karen staying afterwards for post-Kiddush cleanup, and she's a constant presence in the building, in addition to all the other committee work that Karen does. I can go on, but we have cake waiting for us after this. And I really couldn't go through everybody. It would just take too long. So again, I want you to look at the list and appreciate all of our volunteers. If you see someone we've missed, let us know. We want to add them. If you see things that you did that aren't recognized, we want to add those too. We really want everyone to stand up and be recognized. So my heartfelt thanks to all our volunteers, and I want you to know that we appreciate your dedication and service. Shabbat Shalom.
Well said, Jamie. Thank you. Here is first in English, and then a piece of liturgy from the Psalms in Hebrew, a blessing for all the volunteers of our community. May heaven bestow deliverance on the volunteers of this holy congregation. May kindness, love, and compassion, a long life, abundant provision, and sustenance from heaven, bodily health and spiritual enlightenment be their lot. May their households thrive, never ceasing to speak words of Torah, nor ever neglecting them. May the Sovereign of the universe bless you, dear volunteers, and accord you a full life, add to your days, and grant you a long life. May you be freed of all distress and difficult circumstance, now and always. May God, the Master in heaven, sustain you at all times and seasons. And let us say, Amen. From Psalm 134.
Come, let all the servants of Adonai standing in God's house praise Adonai. Lift up your hands in holiness and bless Adonai. For Adonai, who created the heavens and the earth, shall bless you from Zion. Hine baruchu et Adonai, kol avdei Adonai, ha'omdim beveit Adonai, baleilot. Se'u yedechem kodesh, uvarchu et Adonai, yevarechecha Adonai mitzion, oseh shamayim va'aretz. Hine baruchu et Adonai, kol avdei Adonai, ha'omdim beveit Adonai, baleilot.
Just before we conclude with Yigdal, this is a great opportunity, as we do each week, for Hakarat HaTov. Amanda, I just want to double check again that everybody on Zoom has the opportunity to unmute themselves if they would like to. You can release the restriction. The first piece of Hakarat HaTov is tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m., the Benot Mitzvah of twins Michaela and Elise Benjamin. We are thrilled to be celebrating with them here, and we wish them, their parents, their entire family, a Mazal Tov. Let's head over now to Helene for a piece of news.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom. So this Tuesday is a big day in our family. No, not just because it's the CBI annual meeting, but June 14th. Steve and I will be married 35 years, and Lara and Aaron will be married 2 years.
Wow. Wow. Mazel tov. Mazel
Steve is
tov.
here somewhere. I don't know where.
Thank you for sharing that. Mazel tov. Let's go to, Matthew, I see you and your parents there.
Yeah, we have my mom and dad. Now we have the feedback.
Okay. All right. We've got my dad here visiting. Sorry, we've got some feedback because we've got two kids going at the same time. My dad is next here visiting from Arizona.
We see you. Welcome. Welcome from Arizona. It's great to have you with us. Great that you're visiting and great to have you with us at services. Anybody else with a piece of Hakarat Tov, birthday, anniversary? You've got something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Cantorwalik has something. Okay, come on over.
My niece Orly Mintz got engaged just last
Woo!
night. Yes.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. You get who'd she get engaged to?
His name is Jeremy Schechter, and they actually sang together in the Shabbatons at 10. So you see what singing can lead to.
There you go.
He's not going to call us again. So now.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
We have
Zach.
one other thing to say,
Oh.
Rabbi.
Yeah, sorry. Meryl, what was that?
Actually, it's me. I
Hey,
just
Michael.
wanted to. Wait, can you unmute that? Can you mute that? I just wanted to announce that my piece of good news was that I won the Democratic primary for Township Committee in Millburn. So I want to thank everybody from the congregation who came out and voted for me. And now it's on to the general election in November.
That's it. We're really happy for you, Michael. Enjoy a lot of success. Go
Thank
do
you.
really, really good, meaningful work. Amazing.
Thank
Zach.
Oh, yep, really quick. I did not realize it was Elise and Michaela's B'nai Mitzvot tomorrow. I don't see them on, but just wanted to, congratulate them. Susie and I had them as first and second graders. They're wonderful kids. I'm sure they've continued, to excel in their Jewish education. So, Mazel Tov, Elise and Michaela, and other parents as well. So.
Very, very kind words, Zach. Well, again, we will be back here tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. to celebrate their Benot Mitzvah. And why don't we conclude this evening all together with Yigdal in the Lev Shalem. We're on page 62.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא והנה אל מציאותו, אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו, אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון בכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו אדון עולם בכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפן נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע זתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן רשע רע כרישתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לבנות מחכה קץ ישועתו, מתים יחיה אל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו, מתים יחיה אל ברוב חסדו,
Baruch Adei Ad Shem Tehilato. Toda Rabba to our volunteers. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll see you in the morning. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And to Len Yashar Koach for joining us.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shkoach Len. Thank you. Thanks,
Shabbat
everybody.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Mickey, Dan, thanks for joining us. Great to see you. Shabbat Shalom. We're thinking
Shabbat
of you.
Shalom.
We're thinking of you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you.
All right, good night. I'll see you in the morning. Okay, Amanda. Len, great stuff. No, but that was, no, it continues to be, it's terrific. Yeah.